Right, what have we got here? It's another flashlight, and this time it's the On the Road M3. Now I realise On the Road, I've never heard of this company. When I first heard of it, I thought, On the Road, is that like a breakdown company for cars? But they do actually make flashlights. They make quite a large range actually. I've had a look on the website. Although it's all in Chinese characters, I can understand some of the basics, which is fine. Lithium ion, yeah, no problem. I quite like the packaging actually. It looks quite modern. It's minimalistic, so it looks quite modern. So it's the M3, and let's see what it's got written on here. Yeah, it comes in titanium grey, so that's the colour, and then 5C is the tint. There's two tints on this one. The 5C is, I think it's 3,800 to 4,000 K. The other tint is 6,500 to around 7,000 K. When I talk about tint, I'm on about the colour profile of the beam from the emitter. There's two to choose from. I've gone for what's called a neutral white, and the other one is more of an ice white. So one's whiter, even though light's light and it's all made from various colours, it's lighter, whereas this one is more neutral, as in it's closer to sunlight. That's a personal preference, and you don't have to do that yourself. It depends what you like. So how the hell did you get into this? So remember, everyone loves an unboxing, so let's get in here. Without further ado, there we are. Let's see what we've got in here. Aha. What's this? Right, first off, user manual. I like to see this. Some of these flashlights come with nothing, and you've got to play it. Guess how it works, which is fun for people like me, but most people don't want that. So warranty, battery replacement, tips, warning and maintenance. Every 6 months should be wiped clean with a cloth. Interesting. Here's all the features. I like it. So it's the M3, it's the cr123-L2U3. That's just the emitter that it's using. The cr, I think that's the model I'm accustomed to. Yeah, that's quite an efficient one. Battery is a cr123, also known as a cr123A, lithium ion. I do have one in the charger, which I'll go and get now. There we are. So that's fresh from the charger. So they're not as big as the 18650s, they're the small ones. So this is going to be a smaller flashlight, but you're still going to have a decent output. So we'll put that to one side. It's pretty small, low weight, double and 3 click stage, beautiful. Mode select, ultra low, medium, high. Now that's interesting. It's got the low battery flashing, interesting. Intelligent drive, yeah. Battery and reverse, fine. Most come with that now. Titanium, and there's the run times, but we'll go through that. I'll work that out. And then the modes, so let me just memorize that. Ultra low, low, medium, high, 3 times. Okay, that's memorized. I've got that. Right, let's see what we've got in this box here. So is this a box? What's this? Oh, nothing behind there. No $100 notes or anything. I like the little bag, although I don't know how much I would use that. It's an IPX8, which means nothing's going to get in, so should you need a little bag? Oh, I like that. Now straight off, you can see where they've borrowed the design philosophy. If I get, where is it? Here's an O-light. Now imagine this is the S1, which is just smaller and shorter. You can see where they've borrowed, in other words, it's a knockoff. They've borrowed some design philosophy there. Although having said that, they've actually done a better job than O-light. Look, they've added heatsink there, which I'll cover the reason for that. Deep clip looks similar. The knurling is bigger but similar. That's similar. So let's face it, most people will consider this to be a knockoff of an O-light S1 baton. That's the S2 there. So that's an issue you can deal with yourself. However, I'm going to concentrate on the flashlight and whether it's any good. So let's go through it. So it's the On the Road, which I'd never heard of. On the Road M3 uses a cr123A battery, the cr123-L2U2 emitter, which is just down there, and I can see it's got what's called an orange peel reflector, and quite a big one, even though this is just small. I like that. And just for people who don't know, I will cover it because I like to inform people. So, you know, if you're going to be buying something, you want to know what you're getting. So most flashlights, there's your LED and the light's going in that direction. So you have a smooth reflector. Now with a smooth reflector you get, you're going to get light coming out there, and then you're going to get spill. So that's your spot, and you're going to get spill. Now the purpose of a orange pure reflector, which introduces bumps and irregularities to the reflector, it tends to negate the fact that you're going to end up with a spot and a spill, and it merges the two together. You get a more pleasing to the eye look. You can also get a little bit more spill depending on how it's designed and how fat that pipe is there. So that's just what the reflector is. I personally prefer an orange pure reflector. That's a personal preference, but you may find different, which is absolutely fine. So I'm going to go through some of the other features here. It's got a pretty in-depth UI, which we'll go through once I get a battery in. I like the clip. It's the same as your light in that you can use it to deactivate the button. So normally there's your button, but when you have that in your pocket with something, there's a chance that whoops, that can get automatically turned on and you go out for the day. Fantastic. Oh, it's getting dark, 7 hours later, time to turn the flashlight on. Oh, the battery's dead. Why? Well, the battery's dead because it accidentally went on in your pocket and it's been on all day, and it's an absolute nuisance, and it's happened to me. So what you can do with these clips is, though, watch. There you go, problem solved. There's now a small gap and that button can't be pressed. Fantastic. Yeah, I suppose you could hit the side, but no, that's pretty good. That covers it enough to deactivate it. It's just one of the drawbacks of a side button. I personally prefer tail clickers. Reason being is most of them are recessed, so you can't actually whoops turn it on by accident. You hit the top of the material here, you can't actually get down and press the button. The problem with these is it means you have to have a longer flashlight, and you can't have a magnetic tail. This has a magnetic tail, so in theory it should stick. There you go. And because it's quite small and very lightweight, it's going to stay there. So that's pretty, yeah, that's pretty solid. I've probably got a neodymium in the base there, but we'll take it to bits and have a look. So excellent. Magnetic, I like to see that. It has a memory mode, and now memory mode just remembers the last mode that you used. It's a time-saving feature, so if you use any particular light output for 3 seconds, it'll remember that, and that can be handy if you use one constantly. So in memory mode, nice to see. It's also got a feature when the battery reaches around 10% and less, this flashes red, which excellent feature. I like to see that. Low battery warning, excellent. So again, the features are stacking up. I'm getting pretty impressed. So you've got that. Apparently it's got fat O-rings, but we'll examine those. And heavy duty springs. Now it's an IPX8 as well. IPX6 and 7 are water resistant. This is water resistant, but it's waterproof up to 2 meters, so you can drop that in a puddle, no problem, or a small creek under the water. Oops, what a mistake! You take it out, shake it off, still works, as long as, and I always mention this, things are screwed properly and the O-ring is intact. So as long as those features are fine, you're good to go. So nice to see that. And this also has a 2 meter drop rating. So if you drop that from a height of 2 meters, the manufacturer is guaranteeing, to a degree, depends what, unless you drop it on pure diamond or titanium or something, it's probably going to be okay. And the lens is recessed enough away where you're not going to get damage unless it goes on a sharp cobble or something like that and it hits the glass there. So very impressive, looks great, small, very neat and tidy clip, and the clip's reversible, so you can take that off, and I'll do it, take it off and reverse it. And the point of that is you can then put that on your cap, or I've put that in pockets and all sorts of things and written. Reversible clips are a godsend. They're absolutely fantastic, and it's nice to see that this isn't just a normal clip. So I'll show you an example on the small Thorfire here. That's a normal clip. You're going to have a protrusion from the pocket. This is a deep carry, so your pocket can go right up close to the highest point. So nice to see that, and I like the design. I'll show you what I mean here. If I can find the BLF A6, I don't know why they've designed it like this. You see, it's got this annoying lip there, an annoying lip. So your pocket comes up here and naturally travels with the barrel here and gets stuck in there, and then you try and push it down further and it doesn't go. Why have they put that bit on? Don't have that bit on. Like the Olight, which this is allegedly copied from. See, there's a minimal bump and then the top of your pocket could go up. This is exactly the same. You know, I'd still like to see that barrel down a little bit, but that's just a personal thing. Feels good. Bit of branding on there, no problem. Finish looks good. I'm not going to go into, oh, it's anodized this and anodized that. They dip it in a chemical and it puts a colour on. You know, there's not a lot to go through there. It's not spray painted like the old days. So let's get the battery in here and let's have an examination. Now it feels okay. I like to test the threads. Now straight off that looks wet. That is a big O-ring, yeah. So the O-ring is this bit here, right at the tip there, travelling around, and it looks like it's lubed. Yeah, I can feel it. It is. That is quite a fat O-ring, which is nice to see. I think most of them are generally like 1 mil. That's probably 1.5 mil. The machining feels okay. It's a little bit gritty, a little bit, but that could be anything. That's well lubed. You can see they've put a lot on there. I like to see that. There's gaps there, but you know, that's not the end of the world. Looks nice. Looks okay inside. Nice branding on the road there. Metalwork looks good. Let's see what this is like. Now this just looks exactly the same as an Olight, really. Very, very similar. You can see the battery, sorry, the magnet right at the bottom there. They're saying that's a heavy duty spring. It's heavier duty than most. I don't think it's fully heavy. I've seen better ones on the BLF Q8. But that's okay. Now look at the design though. If we go and grab the Olight, it's probably going to be almost identical. Yeah. So they've borrowed some design philosophy there. Some people might call that a knockoff, but there you go. Right. So here is the 65 milliamp hour battery that I'm going to be using. It's a genuine Nico, not a knockoff one. It's a cr123A, so let's pop that in. Now, polarity wise on this, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same as the Olight, but I will check. So let's have a look at this. Is there anything in here? Because on an Olight, you put the batteries in the other way. You normally have the positive towards the emitter, but on an Olight, the positive comes towards the tail cap for whatever reason. That's just a design decision that they've got. Now there is reverse polarity protection on this, but let's see what it says here. Is there anything in here that could help? Probably not. Remember, must be charged. Yeah. How do you put the battery in? Well, that's handy. There's absolutely nothing there to help you. So let's try it. If it works, chances are it's all right. So we'll put it in old-fashioned way, not Olight way. Now that doesn't work. Oh, there it does. Right. Now that's another feature which interesting. Okay, so this doesn't have what's called an electronic lockout. On something like the BLF Q8, you can actually lock this button out. So that's going on, off, on, off. Let's say you want to transport that. If you go 1, 2, 3, 4, see those little flashes? Right, now when you try and turn it on, oh, you can't. Even if you hold the button down, nothing happens. Oh, that turns it back on. But you don't have that feature with this. So rather than add that and put the cost up a bit more and make it more complicated, it's a hold type. So if you click it and knock it, not a problem. It ain't going to go on. But if you hold it, it is going to go on. So that's how it works on this particular model. So you have various modes for this, which we'll go through now. So you have special modes and standard modes. So you have an ultra low, which is 10 lumens. Now I'll see if I can find that. There you go. There's 10 lumens. So pretty bright actually. Most of these flashlights, the low mode, there, that's the low mode on the Convoy S2 Plus. Much less, it's probably about half a lumen to 1 lumen. I don't know why they feel it necessary, especially with this capacity battery, to have 10 lumens on an ultra low mode. I wouldn't call it ultra low. Ultra low to me is no more than 1.5 lumens. The whole point of an ultra low mode is you can read a map and not disturb yourself or other people or give away your position, and most importantly, it doesn't destroy night vision. Night vision is when you get used to the darkness, to a degree anyway. You're not going to see everything like a bat or an owl, but you're going to see most things, especially if there's moonlight around and ambient lighting. If you shine a bright flashlight in your face, that goes into the back of the eye, and bang, you've just instantly lost that night vision for the next 20 minutes. There are ways around that. I mean, the old one, especially in the army, used to be, right, get the red light on. I mean, there's people who disagree and say red light makes no difference. It's the fact that the red light is very low intensity. And I would probably agree with that. Low intensities tend not to diminish your night vision. That's just a personal opinion. Red might work. I've never found it particularly useful. So that's your low mode, and then if you hold it down again, there you go. So you've got, we went from ultra low, which is 10, and that gives you 70 hours, pretty impressive. Now we're on low, which is 150 lumens. You get about 2 hours, 20 minutes on there, as long as your battery's decent and up to specs. That's pretty bright, I like that. You can see the tint difference. I'll show you. This is a through night, and that has an ice white. Now look at the difference in colour. See how this is very white, whereas this is more neutral, as in closer to sunlight. Big difference there. So just wanted to point that out. So you're going to, if you go for the whiter tint, you're going to get something more akin to the through night there. Okay, so the next mode should be 300 lumens. There, 300. Now you get just over an hour. I think it's about an hour and 10 minutes on that. Pretty good. Nice spread. Reflector's doing its job nicely. I like it. Nice bit of spread here, and there's your spot. Beautiful. Then the next one should be 600. Bang. So there you go. In fact, I can feel the heat just from there. So that's a great output, that. So there's 600. Brilliant. Yeah. For something this size, that's brilliant. Now, beware, you're only going to get about half an hour. They state 35 minutes, but, you know, that's under ideal conditions at the ideal temperature with the best battery. So I would probably say just under half an hour. And then there's turbo mode, which is a double click. There you go, bumped up. So that gives you about 920 lumens, which is fantastic. So 920, that's in line with the O-Light, which gives you about 950, and the Convoy S2 Plus and the BLF ES6, which give you around 1000. So fantastic, especially for such a small unit, and it doesn't feel too hot. That's doing an extremely good job. Now luckily there are heat sinks here. There's not many, and it's only going to do so much. I'll explain what heat sinks are for and how they work though, because most people are thinking, what's he talking about, heat sink? Normally what happens is you've got your tube here, you've got your driver and your emitter and your reflector, and light is going in that direction. The more juice that goes through here, like LEDs are efficient, but they're not that efficient. Nothing's 100% efficient, unfortunately. So as part of that process, you lose some of that power and energy output as heat. So this area heats up. So the only way for it to get rid of is through the glass, and a lot of it goes through the metal. So it's lost through conduction by the air. So what happens is you've got your metal there, heat comes out, and it's lost or transferred to the air, which is a lower temperature. Now, when it comes to dissipation of heat, if you can take yourself back to science lessons, you'll remember that surface area has a massive impact on that. Surface area increases the effect. So you're probably thinking, well, how do you increase surface area? Well, it's quite simple. What you do is you add fins. Just like a car's radiator, which is all fins, you're increasing surface area. That's all you're doing. So if you imagine that's a piece of string, if I was to pull that out, you've got double the amount of surface area in the same space. So although they haven't got that many heat sinks on, there's a few, so you're going to get slightly better thermal properties, which is great. And the glass looks pretty good there. I'm impressed. And that's cooled down straight away, no problems, absolutely fantastic. So well made, I'm impressed with that. So we'll take that, and then there's there's some special modes that we need to go through as well. So I've already showed you there briefly. So double click takes you straight to turbo. I like the ability to go straight to turbo, that's great, and then off again. And I think 3 clicks takes you straight to strobe, so I'll cover this slightly because people say I don't like the strobe, I'm getting a headache. So 1, 2, 3, there, you can see it strobing through my fingers there. Pretty good. I like the fact that torches give you instant access to that. They should always have that feature. I think that's very important. And then off. And then I think within that strobe you can go through modes. So if we take it to strobe, you can actually change to other modes. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a beacon mode. So you get flash, 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 and then now this is SOS. So 1, 2, 3, 1, and then slow. So that's like an SOS mode, and then it repeats. And I think there may be one more, is there? Yeah, back to strobe and off. So we've been through all the modes there. It does have memory. It doesn't have a timer like the Olight, but I mean, when would you use that? I don't know. I can't personally think of a time when we do that. Right, so let's discuss knockoffs. Basically, this would appear to be something of a knockoff of an S1 baton by Olight. So you've got to ask yourself, do I want to support that sort of business practice? That's up to you. But bear in mind, that's about $20. To get the equivalent in Olight, you're probably going to pay double. So you can get 2 of those for the price of an Olight. So you're probably asking yourself, what's the difference? Well, the old argument used to be, and sometimes still is, that it's Chinese labour is cheap. Well, that's made in China, and so are the Olight, so you can't use that argument. So you're paying extra for better workmanship. Even though this is a nice design, it looks great, it's got a great UI, I really like it, and I think it's a worthwhile price. You're probably, and I'm saying probably because I have no evidence to suggest this from myself, it's probably possible that this won't be as reliable as an Olight. You're certainly not going to get a 5-year guarantee like you do with the Olights, but I have no personal experience of that. This may work just as long as an Olight, so who's to say? I'd never heard of the company, but they've done an absolutely fantastic job. Instead of just doing a knockoff, which looks exactly like an Olight but is rubbish, they've actually done a really good job. I mean, just think about it. Deep carry, reversible, magnetic base, decent UI, it's got memory mode built in, it's got a button that flashes when the charger's going down, extra fat O-rings, it's IPX8, which is fantastic. They should all be like that. It's actually fantastic. It's got particularly heavy springs, nice to see, and a 2-meter drop rating. I like the reflector, looks great. It's using a proper cr. Really, for $20, I have to say I highly rate this. I've given it some. I'll give it some preliminary testing. I did have another model to look at which was similar, and the beam pattern was great. I'll show you those now, and I was highly impressed. So price $20, you can't go wrong with that. You're even getting a bag to put it in. I mean, you can't say fairer than that. So let's give this a price. $20, and the rating I'm going to give this a 9. And I know people might complain and say, well, it's a knockoff, all right, but they've done a bloody good job. It feels like an Olight. It has that Olight feeling. The finish is great. There's not a single defect that I can spot. The deep carry is great. I've reversed it. It hasn't knocked any of the paint off. The only thing I generally don't like about these is there's no tail clicker, but that's easy to fix. You just put that over and nothing's going to happen. You could probably argue that that could go on a keyring. It's got a hole for a lanyard. In fact, let's look at the size. So if I put this back on, you can look at the Olight S2 baton. So there's the S2 baton by Olight. I'll turn that around so you can see what it is. And then you have the Convoy S2 Plus and the BLF A6. So they're using the 18650 battery, but it's a very similar output other than capacity. So you can see, look at the size difference, absolutely fantastic. at that size, you're coming into the range, even though it's fatter, but you're coming into the range of the small AAA lights. There's a AAA just for size. So you've got to ask yourself, would you rather have that on your keyring, which is going to give you about 120 lumens, or would you rather have that, which is going to give you 900? I would argue, yeah, it's double the price of that, but it's giving you almost 10 times the output. I really like this. I would give this a 9 out of 10. It really fits into a gap in the market that I've mentioned this before. I think we're getting too many AAA lights now. It's getting carried away. There's too many of them, and they all do the same thing. They're all about 102 to 130 lumens. Yeah, the jet stuff's pretty nice, and I like the Through Night TI3, but I could quite see myself swapping to this. I could see myself putting that on my keyring, and yeah, it's a little bit heavier, but it's certainly worth it. It's got a great reflector. I've got absolutely nothing bad to say about this. Nothing. M3 Olight on the road. I'd never heard of them, but they've done an excellent job. So we'll just compare the size of that to the Q8 there. Look at that. I mean, obviously that's going to give you the sun in your hand, whereas that isn't. But I even like the tint. The tint is it's very neutral. It's you know, about 4000K, which is fantastic. So highly rated, 9 out of 10. I would highly recommend getting that. If you can get it on a token, even better, say $15. Perfect. I can't fault it. Other than it could be maybe it's a little bit cheaper because it is technically, allegedly, a knockoff. But great job on the road. Highly impressed. Anyway, let's go on with those beam shots. Look what I've found. The section that I didn't look in has a nice bag there on the road, spare parts, 2 O-rings, which is 2, that's absolutely fantastic, and a lanyard which is pretty much in line with what you get with the O-lights. Exactly the same design, the cincher's the same, feels the same, looks the same, it just has on the road written on it. So again, well done on the road. 2 O-rings, lanyard, for the price, absolutely fantastic.